Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Level 2 VR. And we will be discussing, as per usual, the new games, the deals, and the news in the world of VR this week. Mostly PSVR. We like to say we dabble in some of the other guys, but mostly just PSVR heavy. And let's go right into it because there's a lot to take in today, so I want you to be
that's
prepared.
what she said.
Hello. So new games-wise, we got a pretty big one this week, and do you know what that is, sir?
It's one David, our friend David's been talking about for a little while here.
He's been pretty pumped on it.
It's because one might even say he's a Trekkie. He's a nerd. There is something about a crew and a bridge.
Yes. So Star Trek Bridge Crew got released today, and from all accounts so far, it's doing very well. There's been a lot of positivity around the r/PSVR forum. I've not heard too much in the way of complaints. We were discussing this a little bit before. You were saying you were worried about a potential lack of missions in there?
Yeah, so the way the game, for those of you who don't know, the way the game is set up essentially is I think you have 4 different roles. So you have the engineer, the captain, and I don't know what the other 2 are. I'm going to guess like
Space
shields.
shooty guy.
Well, shields and weapons, I'm guessing, is kind
Gotcha.
of how it's going to go. So like engineers in charge of power, shield dudes in charge of
the bridge
shields.
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the captain's job is the captain can see all the stuff that everybody else can see, but everybody else can only see their slice of the pie. So it's the captain's job to manage resources and going like that, which is cool. But the question I had was the variation of types of missions. So is every mission you go in, you get shot at from some dude, and you got to escape? Like, is that every mission, or is there a mission where it's like you got to go rescue person A, and you have to determine whether it's worth the rescue person A, or should you just get out of there?
How
like
much
that
variable stuff?
Yeah,
is
how on
thrown at
rails is this kind of thing? And
I mean, it sounds like it would be ripe for DLC, even if the main material did start to get stale after a little while. Me and you, I gotta say, we're not really super pumped on it, are we? And it's not because
I just don't do Star Trek.
The game looks great. Like, as far as, I don't want to say don't pick it up or anything, because it looks fantastic. It's just that neither of us are big Star Trek
I have
fans.
seen exactly 0 things of Star Trek,
I've seen some.
including the new movies.
I
no
never used to
desire.
watch the old Star Trek. I watched the Generation one with what's his face, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and I didn't do the Shatner ones.
Oh.
So
I told you earlier
Cool.
when I had the opportunity to meet William Shatner at a convention, and I said, "Hey, you're the Priceline guy." And he's like, "That's cute," because that's what I know him as. He's the Priceline negotiator.
There you go.
I mean, I obviously know he's in Star Trek, but like
more
that's
fun
not
to
what
poke
that's not what I knew him
at
as.
his acting career. Why
Yeah.
not? So
You got a good sense of humor about it.
Star Trek Bridge Crew is out
Priceline
today.
negotiator.
Anyway, it's $50, and that's okay. We're if you're pricing it at $50, you're essentially saying it's as good as an experience as something like Farpoint, which I don't know is necessarily true, but I think if you're a Star Trek fan, it probably is.
I think it would be I think 2 things have to come together to make that true. One, obviously, Star Trek fans, like you said, would be like probably all over this, because I know that's David's excitement is he's like, oh my god, I can be these people. The other thing is you have to have friends that have the headset.
Yeah.
Because I feel like while Werewolves Within playing with randoms is fun, I always feel like games are more fun when you play with people you know, because you can understand, especially because I feel like in a case like this, so say you're the captain and you have to tell your engineer to control some power, how you say that will be different to your friend than it would be to a random person that you have just met. So it's like, I'd be like, hey, asshole Tom, go give me more power. And you're like,
Asshole
fuck
Tom
you.
is my new nickname. So, yeah, I mean, it's worth taking a peek at. That was out today. If nothing else, it makes me happy that we're providing
David's super
more
hyped for
top
it.
quality content.
David
for,
wants me to get it, and I was like,
r/.
David's super hyped about it. So it's like you said, it's not a bad game. It's just we are
I
not
would
Star
pick it
Trek
up on
people.
sale. I'll be honest. I would pick it up on sale, despite not really being a big Star Trek fan, just because the experience is supposed to be.
I have to see more about it. Like, I mean, I've watched videos and stuff, but it's weird because, like, again, we always say VR is one of those things you can't really show. You have to experience, but at the same time, I know what VR is, so it's like I kind of know what it would be.
It's easier to extract what you think the experience would be like from some footage.
I have to see like a true gameplay footage, because all I've seen now is like sneak peeks of people doing stuff, and it looks fun. They look like they're having fun, but how much of that, because it's all press stuff, how much of that is played up to the camera versus real?
So speaking of sort of big and influential PSVR experiences, we got a couple sales this week. And the top one is pretty much the most influential VR experience so far, and that is Resident Evil 7 is on sale. So instead of being the usual $60 purchase, you can pick that game up now for $39.
Don't buy it. It's scary.
And let's not forget, that is a two-part game. That is a flat game and also a VR game. You can play it either way. It's a mode.
That's
as opposed to
the base game, correct? Doesn't include any of the DLCs or anything?
That does not include the DLC. Yeah, it's just the flat game. But, you know, for anyone that has been on the fence, been waiting for a sale or whatever, just do it, man. Just do it, even if you're scared of stuff, because I think that if you can push through the fear for the first 2-3 hours of that game, then you start to get to a sort of a comfort level where you kind of know what to expect, and everything seems a little bit more Resident Evil-y, and you're picking up herbs and stuff like that. So it sort of sinks into a more traditional Resident Evil experience, unless you're Keegan. In which case you won't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole.
It looks cool, but I will never play that game.
The other one that's still on sale from last week is Merville's
So
Adventure.
they did a Tom game and they did a Keegan game.
Yeah, this is one that you really like. Merville's Adventures is $15 down from $20. Again, it's only a $5 discount, but Merville's is a lot of fun. It's a really underrated little gem. We do have some footage of us playing that game on the channel somewhere. Just search Level 2 Gamers Merville's, I guess, and you'll find it.
Or we could go... Whoop.
Or we'll do something special here. But Merville's is worth a peek, and it's kind of, if you like that traditional old school Rare style gameplay in VR, you feel like you're some kind of a weird god looking at your little characters. Cool experience overall, and $5 is $5. So there you go. So Resident Evil 7 and Merville's Adventures are your two big deals for the week. So let's move on to some news. First of all, I'd just like to remind you and thank you for listening to the Level 2 VR podcast and or watching us. The podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all kinds of stuff, and the vidcast, you get to see our pretty faces while we do it.
Pretty is debatable.
Pretty is debatable.
Pretty is pretty debatable.
We do get to top out the video version with a little bit of gameplay too, just for good fun. If you're in a VR mood, we may as well throw some in at the end there. But if you're on the audio, obviously you're going to have to switch over to video to watch that. But either way, thank you, however you're consuming the content. So moving on to the news, we had some big news from PlayStation themselves this morning. They came out and said they have a new game coming out, and that game is called Tiny Trax.
Yeah.
What do you know?
I watched the trailer. I actually sent this to you this morning. I was going through, as I do when I wake up, I look at YouTube and see what's been uploaded overnight. Usually, especially on Tuesdays, because that's when Microsoft and Sony tend to push all the trailers out. And this one showed up. It reminded me like Trackmania, but not quite Trackmania. It's like slot car Trackmania. It looked third person. The trailer was weird.
It was like that one Trackmania level that's third person,
yeah,
as opposed to the other ones.
Yeah, so
it's like Scalextric's VR style.
The trailer was really weird because like it was gameplay footage of the cars, but then the people were cardboard cutouts, essentially, and it was like...
Well, I think the thing I did like about the trailer, I did appreciate, and by the way, trailers in the description below, is that it tries to give you an insight as to where you're going to be, because it doesn't do it gameplay-wise. So instead, it's like, if you were playing this game, you would be sat where this guy in the video is sat. So where you see his eyes looking, how he's sat, and how he's looking at the track is the place that you will be playing the game. So not a lot of games do that. They don't give you, like, this is exactly what you're going to
I kind of wish they would do... I wish they'd done, like, a mix of, like, this is where you're at, and then give you that perspective.
Show the actual perspective. Yeah, that would have been better. But, I mean, if you like racing games are a little hard to pull off in VR. We learned that from Turbo. But
third person racing.
The third one, the third person level was weird because sense of depth and field is not something necessarily easy to convey.
Z-Space, as they call it. Tom learned about that today.
It sounds like a sci-fi shooter.
But you have X, Y, and Z.
Z-Space is difficult to navigate in VR because of it's just weird. So it's worth checking out. I think if you're into racing games, if you like Scalextric growing up and you want to be able to do that in VR with a little bit more finesse and a bit of cool.
It looked kind of cool. I'm interested to see because they didn't have very many close-ups of the animation of the cars themselves, like what the visuals of it look like.
The trailer's lacking, but that doesn't necessarily.
But it caught my
mean
attention.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, caught my attention.
For sure. So check out the below and you'll see that that was actually from the official PlayStation blog, so that's a pretty powerful source for that.
That means it's true.
It means it's for really reals.
That means it's for reals.
And then we got some Farpoint news, as usual. Farpoint seems to crop up every single week, and this is some interesting news, because we were talking about when Farpoint originally came out, like how Impulse Gear had really taken to the aim controller and demonstrated it in the best possible way, and you had brought up the fact of left-handed gameplay, and we were like, oh yeah, no problem, you could totally do that. They have this button on this side, and everything seemed normal. But then I didn't until it wasn't until I read this bit of news that I thought, oh yeah, that would be weird. And that is that. Yes, the patch is going to allow you, as a left-handed gamer, to reverse the sticks, so that if you are holding it this way as opposed to this way, then you can swap which one does what. Now, I don't know how easy something like that is to implement to begin with.
Just push a button.
I imagine it's a bit of code, but still, it's kind of cool that they are post-launch still supporting those gamers with accessibility.
My thought was something. Well, no, because I was thinking just inverting, but you're completely swapping sticks. Yeah, so I wonder if you have like a variable. I don't know much about coding.
Do they do that in regular games so you can swap the sticks? I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
No, because it's not a big of an issue, because the right stick is on the right side, left stick, so because being right or left-handed on that kind of
game, in front of the other,
because you're doing this, so it doesn't matter on a controller. I have seen people play games upside down. Have you ever seen that? Where they play not the game, but they flip the controller upside down so the sticks are inverted.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then your buttons it's so uncomfortable. But I had a couple of friends who used to do that. Who would flip their lefties, and they like the N64 controller. They'd flip it upside down.
N64 was a beast to handle whichever way you played video games.
Could you imagine because you're used to this and just the upside down grip on it? It's
very bizarre. I had a lot of trouble.
Lefties
so close together.
Lefties had to do a lot of things differently because the 10%.
Well, we appreciate you lefties, and so does Impulse Gear, apparently. So look forward to
that was one, like I said, we brought it up, whereas if you're lefty, it would be off. But didn't think about the sticks.
There you go. And then we have a new game that was announced to come out to PSVR, and that is called Kartong, Death by Cardboard. And again, check the description.
It looks real weird.
It does look real weird. It's a stealth FPS game where it does look... I hate to use the word janky, but it does look a little janky in places, but it could be an art style. It's really difficult to tell from the trailer.
It looks very gamey.
It is very...
And that's not describing food. It's
gamey.
It's just gamey. It reminds you of like an arcade, where it's very intentionally you are playing a game versus trying to get you lost in that experience.
The idea is that you're stuck in some kind of a cardboard world, and you're navigating with using stealth, like different traps and things like that, and you can pick up things. They showed in the trailer like a crossbow with a flame that you can put onto the end of the arrow, and you can set shit on fire. And so it looks like there's a lot of puzzle elements to it, as well as a lot of stealth elements to it, but it definitely looks interesting. I would be willing to take a closer look closer to launch time, but pretty big news there.
It didn't catch my attention. It didn't look polished enough to be good, in my opinion.
Depends
Granted,
on the
I've not played it.
What if it's like $10?
I still wouldn't do it, because it's weird, because we've talked about this before with VR. I'm getting to the point where my standard, I feel like, is coming up, where I'm like, you need to not make shitty games anymore. You need to
start filtering
decent games. Yeah. Don't just because it's there. Don't just give me don't give me shovelware because you want to. Give me something I will actually enjoy, or give me something that there's a reason to have that on there, so it's not another gallery shooter. And
to be fair, we're not saying this game is shovelware. We have no idea until it gets released, but we're definitely...
That's my impression of it.
My favorite phrase with most things VR is cautiously optimistic. Is how I feel about it. You're just cautious.
I'm just...
cautiously pessimistic.
Well, I was going to say, at this point, I just feel like there's a lot of things are doing the same thing over and over again, and nobody's really trying anything new, so it's like, I don't need this if there's already something that does that thing better. So, the example I'm going to use is Eve and Gunjack. Or not Gunjack. What's the other?
Gunjack was another Eve.
There's another spaceship one. Can't remember what it was now.
Starblood Arena is there.
No, there's another one that I played at launch, and I played Eve. Granted, Eve was $60, but Eve was the better experience. I didn't really want to touch the other one because that one was so much better.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, let's say a racing game. I'd rather play Dirt Rally than Trackmania Turbo because it's the better experience. Having multiple racing games is cool. Competition's always good, but why would you settle for the lesser of the things? Yeah.
That's fair. That's a good comment. So speaking of games that were really kind of anticipated, one of the most anticipated games, there's two big ones for PSVR right now, and that's Super Hot, and the other one is Elite Dangerous.
Dude, Super Hot is amazing.
Super Hot looks a lot of fun. Elite Dangerous is the other one that was is really, really kind of a lot of people looking for that game. It's been out on other VR platforms for a while, and Elite Dangerous had a bit of kind of shitty news recently, and that's the fact that it's going to come out on the PS4 pretty soon, but it will not, I repeat, will not support PSVR at launch, which is kind of shitty.
I love the fact that this comes from a website called godisgeek.com.
God is a Geek. Sure.
He could be.
But yeah, again, it's.
I don't know much about this game, to be completely honest with you.
I know that's fine. I know very little as well. I just know that it's been one of those ones that since the inception of PSVR, there's a lot of people that have been saying, "When's Elite Dangerous coming out? When's Elite Dangerous coming out?" And there's been a lot of kind of like buzz around this game. So that's as much attention I've really paid to it, and they're just kind of coming out and saying, "Yes, it'll be on the PS4, but no, it won't be PSVR ready right away." So I think it's. I almost feel like why not just wait and just do them both at the same time? But I guess better late than never, as long as it still arrives. So it's a tough bit of news to digest if you're a big fan of that game. But
let's be honest, you need to have the base game functioning correctly before you try to do VR. So if they've got other things they're doing that need a fix or whatever it may be.
The other big thing that Sony's been doing lately is we were talking about this as far as like superior racing experiences, and you said you were very looking forward to Gran Turismo VR, and apparently there's a new demo that's going to be shown here pretty soon at Nuremberg, not Nuremberg, Nürburgring.
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 It's Nürburgring.
Nürburgring. But anyway, that place is going to have this very special GT demo setup for VR, which apparently is going to showcase new cars, new tracks, and really kind of give you a good direction as to where that game is heading. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I wonder if it's going to be the same demo then we're going to see at E3.
Maybe.
So one of the things that I really want this game to do, and I know it's really stupid because we were talking, like you said, we were talking about having those superior experiences. Is one of the things Gran Turismo always does is it always makes its cars look really cool.
Yeah.
They nailed the way the car should look. I want that mode, kind of like they have a Drive Club, where you can walk around the car, explore the car, and it was funny because I was actually talking to Grotto last night about this, where I'm like, I'm not excited much for this game because I'm like, I don't play. I used to be just racing games, and now I'm like, I've kind of been racing gamed out because I have so many other games that I've been playing.
Still to force you to play a racing game at the end of this.
Well,
episode.
yes, I'm not saying that I don't love them, but there's other things I'm spending my money on versus just racing games, which was all I used to buy. And this one for VR has got me excited. If I was to buy a racing game and just say that's the only one I'm going to buy for VR, it would probably be this based on what I've seen. DeGratto's played the beta of it. It's not in VR for the beta, but he got into the beta for it, and he's enjoyed the crap out of it. So it's a good game. I'm
pretty
super
much Sony's version of Forza. Would you say?
Yes, but it's far superior to Forza. I mean, Forza is a great series, but even as an Xbox guy.
As a PS4 guy, I think it's debatable. But
even as an Xbox guy, I thought
Forza is kind of the pinnacle racing experience associated with a company in terms of Microsoft, and I think this is the pinnacle racing experience associated with their host company, which is Sony. That's how much I'm comparing.
See, I've always grown up
game-wise different.
See, I've always grown up with. I had a PS1. Yeah, because Gran Turismo 2 was on PlayStation 1. That's the only PlayStation console. It came with the van we bought back in the 90s. We had a TV in our van. I think the PS2 had come out by that point, and they're just trying to get rid of these units. So we got it with the van. And I got Gran Turismo for it, and I absolutely love that game. And, like, it's kind of like how I look at 2K and NBA Live. I think 2K is the far superior experience. I think Gran Turismo is the far superior experience. I'm not going to say Forza is a bad experience because it's not by any stretch of the imagination, but whenever I think of a racing game or a racing series, I immediately, even as an Xbox guy, I immediately thought of Gran Turismo. I also think Gran Turismo is more elitist than Forza with the way I perceive it, because I think Forza was kind of, because Gran Turismo came first, Forza came second, so they were trying to play catch up and like, look, everybody can play. And what Forza does well is they have the sim side of things, so the Forza series 6, 7. And then they have the Horizon series, the 1, 2, and 3, that are more arcadey. Versus Gran Turismo, it's true sim. And I remember doing licenses. I was like, I have to get my license in a video game? Like, this is dumb. But it's the best simulation game I've ever played. It's a Gran Turismo series, which was Gran Turismo 2.
I remember they rubbed Jay Leno into a lot of that stuff as well, because Jay Leno has a massive sort of classic car collection, and some of these cars the team at Gran Turismo couldn't get their hands on, so they went to him. They went to Jay Leno, and he ended up actually helping a lot on one of the games, the last one I think it was. I saw some documentaries on that. It was
one more thing I'm going to say about the Gran Turismo series that I love is they do sounds very, very, very well.
Yeah.
Because you can do visuals well, but in a racing game, a lot of the times there's two or three things you're kind of looking for when you're racing. One is the sound of the engine. So, like, you've never raced a car, have you? Other than like a video game.
Never driven a car.
There you go. So when you race a car, what happens when you go into the corner? You have this sound in the engine you're looking for. So like when I hit a certain RPM range, I'm like, okay, I got to get off because I'm coming into the corner. and it hits a certain RPM range inside the car that you hit, because you don't have a speedometer inside of a car usually. Like for stock cars, you don't have a speedometer, you have the RPMs. So you listen to that sound of the engine to know when to come in, go out on a gas pedal and all that. The other thing is obviously the force feedback.
Is this why driving with you is so dangerous?
No, I drive with my butt. We talked about this, right? Where you drive with your butt. So that's how I knew. I had a flat tire a couple weeks ago, and things got wiggly, and
with your butt.
my butt knew something was wrong.
Your butt saved you.
But yeah, that's one thing I think that they do very well, and they hit on the things that core sim racers want to have, essentially. Not that Forza doesn't, again, but I just think Gran Turismo, I put them in a little, like if Forza here, I put Gran Turismo like a half step above because of some of the polish they do.
Gotcha.
But Forza is a great game. I own that as well.
Okay.
So.
All right. So we've learned Keegan likes games.
Racing games.
And he's going to play one at the end of this episode, by the way. We're going to have him play Dirt Rally VR.
With the wheel.
Because we haven't done
I'm
that
not
yet.
playing
With
with
the
wheel.
force feedback wheel that I picked up. And it's
I'm hoping I don't break a finger.
currently attached to like a grandma table. It's going to be janky. It's going to be great.
I'm gonna flip the table over.
Next bit of news we have is from Google. Actually, Google is showing off the potential of this new technology with a Star Wars demo they put together. And this technology is called, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, it's called Seurat.
Is it Google or is it Alphabet?
I believe it's Google.
Okay.
So
Because Google.
Seurat. Seurat sounds right to me. But basically what it is they figured out a way to do this kind of photorealistic mapping in VR. So if you think about when you first play like a Battlefront game and you saw, not a Battlefront game, the last Battlefront game.
The new one.
And you saw how kind of realistic a lot of those environments were. That was because there was a realism edge to them because of some of the mapping technology that was used in that game. So Google has essentially created a form of technology which will enable this in VR. And they demonstrated it with, of course, a Star Wars game. And
they do it. They're partnered with ILM.
Yes.
So
they're partnering with ILM
if you guys don't know who ILM is, they are the
Industrial Light and Magic.
They are the special effects behind Star Wars. They invented a lot of the stuff that we use today.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me excited. They're working currently on Vive stuff too. So I love ILM.
But it's not so much a game right now as an experience, but they, again...
Proof of concept.
In the description below, check it out. It is proof of concept. It's proof that they can create a photorealistic world. And they said, and they say this during the video, that a lot of people were so stunned at how realistic everything was, they would literally like get on their knees and start inspecting the floor and looking for curvatures and things like that because it was that realistic.
My only concern with this is this is cool. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna play Naysayer here, as I tend to do a lot.
Go ahead.
Is how much power do you need to run something like this? That's like realistically how far away are we from having this in the home?
Some of what they were talking about was that it's optimized in a way that it doesn't require some special amount of power. That's kind of what they're aiming for. It's supposed to be just kind of more like a new engine than anything. So hopefully not much. But again, all of that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
As we've learned recently, the PS Pro is maybe not as powerful as we had thought it was originally. So whether it can pull off something like this, or the regular PS4 for that matter, remains to be seen.
Well, I don't even think consoles will be able to pull something off like that. I think this is strictly PC based at this point.
We'll find
just
out.
because graphics cards.
Yeah. And alongside that, in Google VR news, they also have a standalone Daydream headset prototype that reached the light of day. And that sucker looks an awful lot like a PSVR
Daydream's
headset.
been around for a while. They do their own games and stuff, too. Like, Daydream is actually... I haven't seen the picture yet, so I'm pulling... Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It's got the Oculus circle on it, though.
Yeah, it's got the Oculus circle, but pretty much everything else looks exactly the same as the PSVR headset. Again, it's a small thing. It's not, I didn't want to talk about it for very long, but I thought if you follow the link below, as far as Google News goes, you can see for yourself. It's kind of a ridiculous copy.
Well, I'm going to talk on it real quick with something like this. I like this kind of stuff because this is the accessible VR to a lot of people. This uses your phone. So I like that aspect of it because, as we've always talked, VR is expensive to get into, and the cheapest VR I think right now is $90 for
Google Cardboard.
$5 for Google Cardboard.
Yeah.
But like a true headset is, I think 90 is the cheapest, and then it goes up from there. But I really want people to experience a VR experience. I didn't mean to say experience twice.
Just like even if it's like VR Lite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's just watching like a 360 video on your phone. That's
I
clear.
watched my friend Kat. She played one on her phone. I was like, because we're spoiled. We use the headset. We use PSVR, which I'm sure is far superior than playing it on the phone. But she was blown away with like how it was, and I was like, because phones are powerful, but I don't think of a phone the same way I think of a console, and I don't think of a console the same way I think of a high-end PC, just because the powerability of them.
Powerability.
Powerability.
Just making up words left, right, and center today.
I'm good at that. The powerability.
All right, moving on from Google to a game that a lot of hype is currently surrounding, and that is Arizona Sunshine. That's your zombie FPS game that's going to have free roam movement. And the good news about the locomotion, or the ability to move in all directions, is that they have officially announced that it will be available on all control platforms. So that means obviously the aim, also the DualShock. Both of those seem relatively easy to pull off. The hard one, though, which they are going to do, is the move controllers. So how that looks, no one knows yet. If you've ever played that Killing Something Chinese game that was released as a demo in the PS on the PSVR, they used the ability to kind of like push forward with both move controllers for your character to move forward and things like that. So I imagine it's going to be something along those lines, but they haven't really given.
Can Sony please just? I would buy Move 2.0 if they have joysticks.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the moves are bad.
They have to sell all the first moves.
I don't think the moves are bad. Yeah. I just think they could be better, especially now with the Farpoint gun kind of showing like, hey, this is what you can do.
Question this though: so everyone that's picked up PSVR so far and is having a good time with it, if they suddenly were to release Move 2.0, do you think people would feel like they were getting fucked over?
Not on the moves.
You don't think so?
You know why? Because the moves are made for PS3. I've always said that from the get-go. The moves are what are holding back PSVR on some things.
Yeah.
If they came out and released a headset, new moves at the same time, then I would be like,
I think people would be more happy than sad about it. I gotta say, like some people might be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to buy another peripheral," because they always do that. But I also think that for the
if it's done right,
you would potentially get out of it, like one stick on each thing, and the buttons in the right place, similar to the aim controller.
Take away on the move right now. You have the I don't know what to call it, but they have the button on the top that you push for everything. Yeah. Make that a joystick, and then you just have the trigger at the bottom, and then you do kind of what they did with the aim controller with the
two
buttons.
Triggers maybe, so like one's R2, one's L1, and maybe you could press a button with your thumbs that would swap it to L1, R1 or something. I don't know.
I'm thinking more of like around the joystick, do what they did with the buttons for the Farpoint.
Just protrude them a little bit.
Yeah, put them up so you've got, because it's really hard. We've both experienced it trying to find which buttons which. Yeah. You're like, I don't know.
Especially if you're not a big gamer. Like a lot of people that don't play PS4 regularly have a lot of trouble.
And the other thing is they're not in the same spot.
Yeah,
that's it. Because
they're just like askew a little bit.
Yeah, but my brain is like, I don't like versus like the aim controller. It's right where I think it should be.
Right,
based on my thumb. So that Sony, get on that. You
Next
heard it
bit
here first.
Of news is something that I thought might make you happy. That's why I brought it up. Happy Drummer rhythm game coming to PSVR. Don't know a whole lot about it, but basically,
how do you know the drummer's happy?
Well, I mean, I assume he's happy. He's Japanese. But this is from itbusinessnet.com, which is about as vague as a title of a website you can possibly imagine.
It's because itbusiness.net was taken.
I guess. So Lucian Soft, which is the company making this, they raised about $12 million to focus on high-quality VR content development. And one of those games that was named as being a game that they're planning to release here for PSVR is going to be the Happy Drummer rhythm game. Your thoughts on a VR drumming game as a drummer?
I would like it. I would love a Rock Band in VR because that would make you a true rock star.
Is Rock Band in VR? But
yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's not as good though. They don't do it right. I think what they need to do. So, I've told you about how I've done the Rock Band tournaments.
Yeah.
What they need to do.
What's your band again? Keegan's Basement.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
What they need to do is, on the stage, you have monitors. It's kind of like we did at the live event. So when you're up on stage in VR, you have the monitors down here, and you also have a screen in the distance that you're playing, but you have the audience in front of you. So whether that's like the big board that hangs in an arena or whatever it may be, and then the drummer would have monitors, because drummer monitors, if they're not in-ears, they have like little speakers off to the sides of their kit, like that, so you can go through, maybe one by the tom-toms that you can look at, or again, the big jumbotron out front, like look at that and that's your screen. And be true rock stars, like see people in front of you. The only issue you'd have there with like guitars and singers is people moving around. How would you simulate that unless it just automatically played through a certain loop or whatever it may be, like randomized loop of how they moved around the room.
Yeah.
Or it's based on the motion controller of like how you move in the guitar. Like the guitar would move, but your avatar would move.
As long as like your hands and head could move, I think you'd be okay.
Well, I'm thinking of the guitar. like moving around the stage,
I
like
see.
getting into the audience. Because the drummer's easy; you're sitting still.
Well, I
You're
wonder if they
playing.
could put some kind of tracking on the guitar that would allow it to, like, imagine you use the aim controller as a guitar
Yeah.
or something like that. You know,
I think
that wouldn't work, but
You know how funny it would be to have a VR band in one room that can't see each other?
it would be great.
You'd all just run into each other.
I think it'd
But
be cool.
I think it's a cool
excited about this,
concept.
Yeah.
Like anything else, accuracy is going to be a big thing, especially with drums. When you're going to do a rhythm and
Yeah.
then you go to hit another drum, you got to make sure you hit the right drum. Drums usually are far enough apart; it's probably not a big issue. I also hope they let you customize
depth
kits.
and distance would be
Yeah, how hard you hit.
to
And
because-
the other thing that's really weird. Have you ever played drums?
No.
Okay.
well,
So when you hit a drum head, a lot of people think you just hit it down. The stick actually bounces back up. So you have to, when you're playing in VR, you'd have to pull the stick back up, which most people it's not an issue. If you are a drummer though, you'll feel yourself pulling up and down versus just letting it do the natural rebound. So things like that.
should be interesting. I mean, it's nice to see more kind of rhythm type games that potentially come into VR. I think it's a good platform for it.
We should have a
especially for-
maraca game with the moves.
exactly right.
Get the what was the
a Donkey
the
Kong.
Nintendo?
No, it was a monkey game, right?
Well, no, it
Ape
wasn't-
Escape or something.
What was the Nintendo one that just completely failed? Wii Music. Was it Wii Music?
There was a Wii Music, but there was one with maracas.
Oh,
I think it was a monkey game. I don't remember. If you remember the maraca
Monkey
game
music
on
game.
Nintendo, then let us know. And then one that I'm more excited for than you is Mindtaker, which is, let's be honest, sounds like the best 80s action movie ever made. It's a Spanish horror game coming to PSVR, and it looks super creepy.
is it only?
It's not.
Is it
it's
only
English,
Spanish?
No, it's an English-speaking game. It was just made in Spain originally. I think.
It's a Spanish game.
Spanish
being
horror
that's
story
where it was made.
Made in Spain, but then
It's translated.
localized
So
for
it's
us.
not. My question was basically, is it only going to be in Spain? Is it only going to be in Spanish-speaking countries? But no,
It'll be
Okay.
good.
Cool.
So it looks interesting. It's a bit dark and dreary. From what I understand, cats play a big role in it, or like you can be a cat or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You got to watch the trailer to kind of get a good sense of it. Again, that's in the description below. But it was something that actually came out from Sony. They posted it, a big kind of reveal thing. Mindtaker coming out. It has the little, they have that little blue thing in the corner whenever they release something that says like PlayStation. So it's official stuff,
The
but
tag.
it looks interesting, and for horror fans, I think it's definitely worth checking out. I would say go ahead and hit that description below after this video, and then you can go and check that out for yourself, or pause us and watch it and come back, and we'll still be here talking about Seeking Dawn, which is the other big one that got kind of announced to be coming out here shortly to PSVR. Seeking Dawn is exciting because Seeking Dawn is an MMO FPS, and we all kind of want there to be more MMO games in VR. I think you especially.
When you say FPS, I always think first-person shooter. It's not
It
a
is.
first. Is it a first-person?
It is a first-person
Okay.
shooter, yes.
Because you use that term interchangeably.
I do use it interchangeably, but in this instance, it's really a shooter.
Okay.
And it just looks really great. It's like a sci-fi thing. It's massive multiplayer online.
Do you know if it uses the aim?
It
That's gonna be every question now for every shooter.
Yeah,
Does it
it
use
does.
the aim controller?
As far as I remember, it does use the aim, or at least they're planning to use the aim. I don't know how much into production they are, but there's been a lot of the developers kind of floating it around, like saying, "Hey, this is coming." And in one of the trailers, not the trailers, the like posters or whatever for it, it says PSVR on the poster. But the trailer is fantastic. Like if you watch it, there's really high fidelity. We're talking more high fidelity than like Farpoint, and really impressive looking.
I really want to know. So when we play games, you have obviously the box that the PSVR hooks into, and then you have the PlayStation. I'd love to know how like hot those things get when you're playing a game like Farpoint, because I'm sure it can't be
blow it off a little.
can't be easy on the hardware.
Is there a fan in there?
What?
In the little box?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's louder than the PS4.
I never noticed.
Yeah, I always fun fact, when I play at home, I always unplug that box from my games when I'm playing because it gets way noisier. Like when I'm playing Elder Scrolls, I can hear it.
I can't. I wonder if the Pro handles it better. I don't know. I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever
'cause
heard it.
more
But I also
GPU.
wear headsets when I'm playing VR,
Yeah.
so it could just be that.
Usually I'll hear it like on a loading screen or when I first boot it up, and then after that, or if something intensive happens on the screen, like when I played Dirt the other day, I had a bunch of trees going on, and that's when it's like.
So, I mean, anyway, it looks interesting. Seeking Dawn, again, trailer below, watch it. Looks like a lot of fun. And again, I'm more just excited about the fact that it's a highly polished FPS that's going to be online. That's more of that, please. You know, let's have more.
Let's have more social PSVR games.
More social
please.
games. And the FPS thing, we should be really tearing that a new one right now with the aim controller. There should be every company out there that can make an FPS game.
Can we get an aim katana, like an aim sword? That would be dangerous.
I was thinking it would be good as a chainsaw because you hold it with two hands. You know?
Yeah.
You could hold it from the top or something. A lot of people have been making these stocks for it, like homemade stocks made out of like toilet tubes or whatever. And they're like, it's kind of funny actually. The whole community's been going nuts over that. But there's some really cool ones.
There's custom. Did you see the custom skins that there's some companies that are making custom skins for them?
Dude, I would get a stock add-on though. I would. I'd like that kickback. Like I know you wouldn't kick back, but it'd be cool if it did, man.
Watch this light kick back.
It'd be cool if it did. All right, so
next one. You seem like, I have a feeling you're excited about the next one.
Yeah, follow-up news.
Because you always talk about this game.
Mohara. Follow-up news to a pretty big title that's been in development for PSVR apparently forever and has already been released in various forms on other things. And this is for the Paranormal Activity VR game. So they just recently tweeted, update 0.8.3 is now live on Steam
Not
Games.
0, by the way.
Yep. And at PlayStation PSVR users, just a little more patience. Your game is coming. Thank you. So that means that it's close.
And then there's a question. Can't wait. Is there any aim controller support? The answer, maybe in the future. It's a great controller. I mean, it's really dumb because, as you know, if you watched it, I got terrified playing Farpoint. But having that gun immerses you so much more that it now has kind of made me think of like, we talked about a killer app versus system seller. I think this is a killer controller.
Killer peripheral?
Yeah. I think
is it peripheral or peripheral?
Peripheral. Because it changes the way you play a game.
Yeah.
Because before, if you're thinking just moves,
it's definitely...
Because we all thought the 2 moves back in the day was going to be the way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's definitely the biggest solid addition to the PSVR since launch.
Yes.
I would say.
Outside maybe the Pro.
Resident Evil 7 was like saying, hey, we can also do this quality-wise, but the aim controller is like, guess what? We can give you some really cool shit
and we
now.
get you more immersed in it, which is what VR is.
Exactly. So anything for more immersion, especially for shooting games, I'm down.
Still want that katana.
The last of our kind of like ones that were announced this week is coming soon is Cavernous Wastes. Sorry, I thought it was carved for a second. Cavernous Wastes, which is an indie VR, and I'm going to say this, tunnel FPS. And yes, it's an FPS as in the traditional sense.
Okay.
But here's the idea behind the game is that you are stuck in a tunnel system, and there are turrets of some kind, like little robot turrets, in the tunnel system that you have to take out in order to progress and kind of map out this tunnel system. Apparently, there may be other things aside from turrets further into these tunnels that you get into, but it's kind of like a weird on-raily shooter because you're always in a tunnel, but the graphics on the tunnel are great. The shooting seems...
iffy.
Okay, but it has indie qualities to it. Doesn't seem to be super polished, but it definitely doesn't look bad. It looks interesting.
When you said indie VR tunnel FPS, all I could think of was like London Heist in a tunnel where you're in the car and just go through the tunnel shooting things.
Kind of. Yeah,
that would be
kind of similar to you're in a spaceship, I think, or some kind of mobile craft.
I want... This is a complete sidetrack, but one of the things that London Heist did well is the fact that you like open doors and shit. I wish more games would give you more interactivity in the environment. That was cool.
I would not complain.
So in the tunnel game, if you could if there's water, you could duck under the water or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like things that add a little bit more to the game. Again, going back to what I said earlier, I feel like my standard for VR games is kind of going up because I've seen things that work well. And you want to kind of put them all together and be like, somebody make that game.
I really, really want Quantic Dream to get on VR because they're my favorite developers.
They're doing the what's the name of that game?
Detroit.
Yeah. Do you think that'll be in VR?
No, they've already said that.
Damn.
But it's
But
it's still going to be a great game. Everything that company does to me is gold. So Detroit will be fantastic.
Do they touch you, Tom?
But I think no, they did not. They touched my heart. But I think that if they can get their, because they are kind of renowned for doing just that in terms of interaction with the environment. Everything requires you, and they would never tell you what to do. It was always just like whatever the natural motion is for doing this. To open a cupboard door, you would find yourself with the right stick going, okay, in, and then out, and that's like you reaching and pulling, and then
which is
it was
weird
always
as
kind of
somebody
realistic.
who didn't understand those games, because you're so trained to do certain things in games that are not natural.
Oh yeah, they
It's like,
outside the box big time, and especially
or
for,
maybe inside the box and everybody else is out of the box.
either that. Indigo Prophecy was a big one for that. You played a little bit of that game, and you could tell right from playing it that it's not a normal game. It's something a little bit weird about it, especially the tutorial is super weird and creepy. But if you liked Heavy Rain, if you liked Beyond Two Souls, if you liked Indigo Prophecy, Detroit is one to look out for from Quantic Dream, and let's all just tweet at them or something and say, hey, make a VR game, because I think it would be fantastic.
So
Perfect
last bit of news here, Tom.
Go for it.
Is very exciting, because we touched on this a little bit last week.
We did.
You said there's potentially, maybe, hypothetically, probably a prototype of this hanging out.
There was a prototype for sure, but we just don't know what happened after that.
Yeah. So what happened was Santa Monica came out recently and said there is a second wave VR title
What
coming.
do you think they mean by second wave? I was trying to figure that out.
Wave 1 is launch.
Well, no, because I think I would consider Wave 1 to be anything that was announced as in development before launch or at launch. Because like Farpoint 1 doesn't seem like a second wave VR game. It seems like first wave, because that was something we've been waiting for.
That's why they're saying this is a second wave.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I'm trying to put like
E3.
an exact thing on second wave, and I think it's going to
It'll
be
announced
like
at E3. E3
something
will be
that
your
was
waves.
announced after. Yeah. So Santa Monica, as you guys know,
who has done for VR, they've done Bound. They
did.
did that Bound in VR.
And their most famous franchise is God of War. We were talking about this God of War demo last week that may have existed, or at least people had said they saw existed back when developers were playing around with the Morpheus and just trying to do different things. And apparently they've announced a gigantic title that they're going to release soon, or going to announce soon.
Probably D3.
Second wave, definitely D3. Second wave VR title, and it's going to be a beloved franchise. Was another part of this. Now there was a secondary article that I left out of this because I already had it at the beginning. Literally the first bit of news that I heard, and then there was like a bit of a follow-up afterwards that was saying, it's fucking God of War. So if that's the case, we could be looking at a God of War VR at E3. The question is it going to be a full game, or is it going to be an experience?
Well, the question is, because they're working on God of War right now, because they announced it last year. When is that game coming out? I don't think they've given a date to it. And is this going to be the kind of like Final Fantasy, like you said? Are they going to add it on to that? Is it its own thing? Is it an experience?
I would feel like from second wave VR title, it's going to be a full title. That's the only thing that's making me lean that way. But then I don't think they're going to turn the God of War that they showed.
That's what I'm saying. Like how do you? My only concern then there is splitting resources. Because if you're working on a true God of War game, that's going to take a lot of resources. If you're working on a completely separate God of War game over here, that's going to take a lot of resources. Unless, the only thing I can think is they take assets from that God of War game they're working on, and having a team work on a VR version of that.
That was my thought, was that they might do it. And here's the difficult part there.
I don't know how that works.
If they did it the same way as Resident Evil, then you would have the standard game and the VR game.
God of War is usually third person, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's where it becomes difficult, because they're not going to make God of War an FPS game. But all of the prototype
That's first person perspective.
Yeah.
Not shooter.
Yeah. An FP game. Just FP sounds stupid.
It'd be FPP.
They're not going to make God of War a first-person game because it's not a first-person game. I mean, it's not like Resident Evil. They don't get to do that. The way that game plays, you would get super dizzy. I mean, you're spinning around with chains and doing somersaults and jumping over cyclopses and stabbing their eyes out. Don't get me wrong, it would be cool.
Cyclop eye.
Yeah, but so I don't know if they would have like a VR version of God of War that is like similar to that very first game that we announced, where you're kind of like looking down at the playing field, so to speak, and moving Kratos around, or whether it's more like this supposed demo that existed that would be in first person. I feel like they have to go third person on it, and if they did that, they might be able to do the same thing as Resident Evil developers, Capcom, and develop the same game for both modes. But it's really, really going to be surprising to see. If it's a whole other game, that'll be cool.
So then the question I have there, if they do that where they do the third person perspective, A, is it worth adding VR at that point? Because what's the advantage of it?
Yeah.
Unless there's something else that I'm not thinking of. And B, would it be the same experience in the headset as it is outside the headset? Or because one of the things Resident Evil I think does well is the experience in the headset and out of the headset is probably very similar. It's just that much more immersive, and I don't see being a third-person perspective being as immersive as a first-person perspective. So the question then comes down to: is it worth doing? Is this Sony saying, "Hey, we're just going to put big franchises on here to get everybody excited about PSVR," or is it indeed something that they want to do for PSVR?
I feel like it's going to be a different game. I think it's hard to tell. Like, I would love to see them tap it into the main game.
I also don't know how many people work at Sony Santa Monica, so that's the other thing.
Right.
It could be a giant ass team.
I think it's genuinely going to be like just called like God of War VR or something like that.
God of VR.
It's probably only going to be 5-6 hours, but I do think they'll do something.
Do you think it'd be like an Arkham style? Well, Arkham's first person too, but do you think it'd be like Arkham style?
Hard to tell. I think, like you said, doing it in third person doesn't really add much to it.
No.
So, I mean, aside from the fact it would
look
kind of cool,
yeah,
but like it's not
is
worth.
Is it worth the resources? Are you going to sell that many more of those?
It's not
to make
worth
up for
the
it?
resources for a new camera angle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you really have to be. If they can find a way to manipulate the move controllers into like being whips or being hammers or being swords and
or
shields,
Move 2.0,
things like that, then that would be incredible. You'd still get a little dizzy. I don't know how easy it would be to move around, especially with the move controllers. But or maybe maybe it is using the DualShock and it's similar to Resident Evil, except instead of aiming a gun and shooting, you're just like slashing a whip or doing spins and stuff. But then I feel like you get real dizzy. Like, it's hard to tell. There's no easy way to make this game, right? I mean, unless you have an idea out there, I don't know of an easy way to make a God of War game in VR. So if it does turn out to be first person, then how do they tackle that? And if it does end up being third person, kind of what's the point?
Does it add enough?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, is it worth the extra camera angle, which is essentially all it's going to be, and it's going to be degraded visuals. Remember, by moving it to VR as well. So it's really, this to me is weird. It might not be God of War. I mean, let's preface this with this is rumor. It's not fact at all. But everyone's just kind of like, oh, it's got to be that, because that's the biggest franchise they work on. That Sony,
and that's what they're working. They announced they're working on a new God of War,
right?
So
it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening at E3. But we do know that for sure Santa Monica has said they're working on a full-blown second wave VR title, and the likelihood of that game being God of War is high.
How high?
Pretty high.
420 high.
It's pretty 420 blazing high. So with that being said, that's your news roundup for this week for our VR podcast, Level 2 VR. Thanks for hanging out. If you're listening at home, then we really appreciate you. If you're watching, we also appreciate you. But you're going to get a little bit of extra content right now, because you're going to get to see Keegan play Dirt VR with a wheel.
And pedals.
So we'll see how that goes. Thanks a lot for listening. Please share this with your friends if you dig VR and you want to share a PSVR chat show that's half decent.
Follow us on social media at Level 2 Gamers STL. One of the things too that I've thought about recently, and this is going to be a tangent here at the end slightly, but if you guys have any news or anything, tweet at us at Level 2 Gamers STL with anything you want us, whether it's a topic you want to discuss. We talk about the news a lot here, and we talk about game sales, but if there's something you want us to talk about when it comes to VR, we will gladly discuss it. So hit us. The easiest way for me is Twitter at Level 2 Gamers STL, or if you email Keegan at level2gamers.com or Tom.
That's 2.
Yeah, number 2.
The number. Oh, this one. There you go.
Or if you email Tom at level2gamers.com, we'll both get those emails, and we can answer questions that way. That'd be a cool thing to do. So
rub you into it a little bit, because we love you guys and we want to see more of you. So that being said, it's time to dive into some gameplay for the remaining video viewers, and that's going to be Keegan playing Dirt VR. So let's see how he does when we play some Dirt VR.
So Tom.
Yes, sir.
I'm a race car driver right now in
you are
Dirt Rally. I'm sticking my head through the window. I'm playing with a racing wheel and manual shifting and a gas pedal. Well, hopefully a brake pedal too.
Doing it the real way.
Yes.
Breaking out the extra peripherals to do it, and we have a Thrustmaster T150, which is not by any means top of the line as far as racing controllers go. The one thing about it though is it does have force feedback.
Yes, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you got those pedals too.
Oh my god! Well,
the force feedback is pretty heavy. You can feel it definitely when you're running on the rough there. But this was something that I picked up cheap. I found someone posted about it in the r/PSVR forum saying, hey, this wheel is like 130 down from 200 right now. And because I had so much fun with Resident Evil 7 and everyone was talking about dirt and saying you really have to have the wheel, I went ahead and splashed out on a wheel.
And what you don't know is Thrustmaster is actually a really, really good brand.
I had no idea.
I used to use them back in the day with my old racing wheels. I need to get the hang of this. So I'm probably going to, oh god, do a couple races. I did warm up a little bit, and I feel like I'm getting worse the longer I go.
Just concentration, I think. It's hard to talk and concentrate at the same time. This game is super unforgiving.
Yes. I'm going to take the Joker this lap. So those of you who don't know, the Joker is... Oh, I shouldn't have done that because everybody else is in here. The Joker is like a... Did you see that guy pop?
Yeah.
The Joker is a shortcut, essentially, that you got to take once per race.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you get a tide penalty. Ooh.
And everyone decided to take it.
I don't know if you can see up there in the top right on the scoring, but you in the left there, you can see who's taking the Joker. So the front two have not taken the Joker.
Yeah,
yet.
we can see that.
So
Dave Mirra hasn't taken the Joker, which I learned that Dave Mirra was a fucking rally car driver. I didn't know that. I remember him from his Dave Mirra BMX games, and here he is showing up in a rally game. That's something I learned today.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good at it, unlike me. Unlike P1, who I am.
P1 standing for Player 1, because we were super unoriginal with our naming. We just wanted to get right into the game. So P1, that's Keegan in the rankings there. You can see. Oh, there you go.
Whoa!
Remember, you only need
Screen's
to
a little bashed up there, buddy.
unless I tell you otherwise.
So,
where's triangle? I'm trying to reset her.
You got it. I think it's triangle. I might be wrong. You may just have to pull out of here. Back up.
I can't. Can I reverse?
What about the... Oh, here you go.
There it
Triangle,
goes.
recover vehicle.
There we go.
Just have to look forward. But it's... the nice part about it, and we've discussed this before on the chat, is that when you do hit a bad situation like that, it kind of blacks you out. Yeah. It wasn't all the way out because you didn't do a full flip, but it was like, oh, okay. I
didn't feel any sort of nausea there, though.
That's
I just
the
was
plan.
more like, oh shit, I just hit a wall.
Yeah. And now your screen's all shattered.
Yeah,
is it harder to see?
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, God.
So you had played this previously with the DS4. What would you say are the differences between playing it with the controller versus with a wheel?
It's a lot easier with the wheel, ironically. I mean, I say that as I'm last right here, but like I feel the car handles a little bit better. This game is notoriously hard.
Yeah.
I gotta shift down here. I'm also trying to do manual shifting, which is probably a bad idea on top of everything. But it just felt like it would do more on the immersion. Whoa!
This is what it's like driving with Keegan in real life, by the way, which I've done many a time. It's very similar to this. So if you wanted a virtual road trip with Keegan, this is exactly what it's going to be like when we go to Indie PopCon in a month or two. Except...
Oh, I just realized I have my RPM right down there. I was trying to find that the whole time and I couldn't see it. Like I got my speedometer and my my revs down there, so I need to know when to shift. I was trying to find that and I couldn't find it. So, but yeah, we're gonna do one more race after this. Oh look, I'm about to get lapped. I know it's really dumb because all games do this, but the fact that when I hit the shift, he shifts. Like
I'd imagine that's supposed to happen.
Right? It's well, like the animation, but it's really weird because I'm doing paddle shifters and he's doing a manual stick shift.
Right.
So it throws it off a little bit, but my goal is to not get lapped here, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, there are some wheels that you can get that do have full shifters and
or
they have
add-ons,
clutch and stuff like that. But again, this was just it was like a $200 wheel that was on sale, so I only picked it up for that reason, and also in the hopes that it would make games like Drive Club and potentially the new GTVR more fun. Really looking forward to trying it in GTVR. Actually,
yeah.
I tried it with Drive Club, and it was better. Like it was a more fun experience. But
We're good.
Dirt, as you had previously said, is hard as fuck. So it took me a while. I will say I'm not bad at it. Like as far as like virtual racing games, I do okay. I'm not bad at it, but I've definitely struggled a little bit to get my bearings because I felt like I was just slipping everywhere.
Our buddy Tegrado plays this game a lot.
Yeah.
And he always gets frustrated because driving isn't easy, and I always make fun of him in the chat. And now I feel like I can't make fun of him anymore. So James, if you're watching this,
I'm sorry.
I know your struggle.
Yeah, you gotta at least pull off.
Drifted! I was hoping to drift through that corner.
You gotta pull off a third place to make any kind of fun right now.
I finished.
Yay!
Yay!
There we go. And the VR mode is weird here because you can see now we're kind of back out in this weird TV flat version. It's very bizarre, but it only really switches to VR the second that you're
in the race.
in the car and you're ready to rock and roll.
Because this is a full. Let's do.
It's a whole game though, which is really cool. Like they didn't fuck around.
So I just did Rally Cross. Let's do Hill Climb.
Choose a good one.
Pike's Peak is always good. Well, I guess that's the only one we can do. One stage. Open? I'm gonna say
no
open.
idea what any of
Open
this
sounds
means.
easy. We doing the full course? It is
Up to you, brother.
1,900 miles.
I don't know what that means.
1,900 meters. Fuck it, let's do it. Which one do I want? Do I want hill climb or do I want modern?
Well, you're on a hill climb, so I'm going to say hill climb, but what do I know?
That's the Pike's Peak. Let's see. Nah, I want the modern. I like the modern one. It looks better. It looks sexier. I'm sweating, by the way, and I'm not even doing that much.
It's stressful.
Whew. So how much have you done of this game in VR?
Not as much as I'd like to. It's as you have noticed when we were setting up. It's actually quite painful to set up because there's a lot of moving parts, like to get the wheel and the pedals and the VR headset and your over-ear headset, and not to mention we have microphones and recording equipment everywhere. But it's it's quite an effort, and it's more of an effort than, let's say, picking up the aim gun to dig into to Farpoint. So I played it solidly a couple times when I first got the wheel, and I've just kind of left the wheel down here because I have this crazy really rough setup.
Oh, it's raining.
Oh, nice. I have this rough setup with this thing where it's kind of strapped to a really shitty table. So you're so fucked. So I've not played it as much as I would like to, but I would like to play more. Oh, you're shagged. There's no way you're getting past this. Is it a hydroplane?
I don't have anybody telling me where the corners are either. That's the weird part.
Yeah, there's no co-pilot in this one.
Oh, God.
Oh!
Okay. Well, that's my car.
Wrecked. Fucking hell. Yeah, you're done. Terminal damage.
Well.
Nice one.
I'm gonna restart.
Yeah, you might want to do that. I wonder if you can does it have to be in the rain? Can you control that?
I think
it's too late now, I guess.
I think it's too late now. Oh, God.
Hit the start at speed. So clearly, no laughing matter here in the rain.
Again, I wish I had a co-driver telling me.
Turn right. Turn right again. Turn left in a minute.
This is where I crashed before. This is where I crashed before.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, at least you didn't die.
I just got a penalty. We're good.
Yeah. Okay.
You're asking earlier for hydroplanes, but I don't feel it. But what I feel is the rain is visually it's hard to see. Way harder than I would expect.
It doesn't feel slick.
I mean, it feels slick in general when I play this game, so it doesn't feel any slicker. Hold on. Saved it. Look out, people. I killed the people over there.
You are a murdering son of a bitch.
Dude, have you ever watched a rally thing in real life where people stand on the side of the road and you're like, why are you standing?
They're brave.
God damn it.
They're brave. I would not do that. As long as you finish the race. Is there any? There's no AI on this, is there?
No, because it's a race against the clock.
Oh, I got you. Cancel the penalties.
Yeah.
And is this all uphill or?
Yep, it's a hill climb.
Yeah.
I hate that as soon as you go off, it doesn't let you try to recover, which kind of makes sense, I guess. But it's you have zero chance.
Well, it's just docking you points for not being a slick driver, I guess. But it just, in order for the game to flow
I really
better.
wish the game told me what was coming up.
You can recover.
I really wish the game would tell me what was coming. I think I turned the co-driver off.
Sounds like you might have done.
Sounds like a thing I might have done. So, yeah. That, I probably should shift too. Yeah, if I had a co-driver, this might be a little bit easier, but the problem is I'm trying to see what's coming up while gauging how far away I am from it, and it's not.
I found the co-driver to be, honestly, no different for me because I don't know what he's saying anyway. I can understand left and right, which I can also visually see left and right.
Well,
but
they do left, right, and then they say right turn 5.
The don't cut thing was the only useful bit of information that I came
Maybe there's something
across.
Inside.
Yeah, just take it nice and wide. Whenever he said don't cut, I always was like, oh, okay, that's the only useful bit of information I got from this guy. Oh man, you are just bouncing
Saving it
all over the place.
We're good.
You gotta recover. Oh, look at you, digging yourself out of a hole. This rain's starting to come down some, huh?
Oh, it's been coming down the whole time.
I know.
I'm seriously.
I feel like it gets heavier. Oh, fuck.
So I don't know if you can see my progress up there, but I'm like
You got a ways to
a
go.
long way away from the end.
Well, I mean, you can cancel it and try something else if you want
Let's
to.
do whew.
Can you turn on the thingy from here, the co-pilot?
Well, that's
from
what I was gonna
options?
go back and do. I'm gonna go back.
Well, you don't want to go out of VR because the recording will fuck up. But you might be able to do it from options or something. As long as you stay in VR mode.
No,
you
I
should
don't
be good.
restart. Continue? Or is there like an exit? Where do I exit? How do I exit? I'm sweating. Jesus Christ.
There you go. Go back some. Go to. No, leave this. Oh, co-driver mode on. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. And then
Custom.
just do like a random rally.
I'm gonna do a rally. Do you have a preferred place?
London.
Was there London?
Is it in there?
No.
I thought there was England. Oh, Wales. Do Wales. There you go.
One stage. Sure.
Ooh, 1960s rally car. That's cool.
Yeah. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
There's a little bit more selection here.
These are the ones I like. I was always a Subaru guy, so I'm going to go... I didn't change my livery. Damn it. Oh, well. But you can see one of the things it tells you the length. I don't want to point too far because I don't know where you're at, but it shows you the length of the track. It shows you the altitude differential, the type of material. So if you're really like setting up a true like car setup, this one like it's gravel, so I'd have gravel tires on my car versus like road tires or snow tires.
And with the the force feedback in the wheel, you really feel it too. It when you start hitting those little gravelly parts, like your hands are jittering, and it's a whole thing. It
so
really
like if I go
is
here to
impressive.
vehicle setup,
Lots of different things you can mess with.
I actually want to do more front brake.
It's nice that you have this much that you can fiddle with, though.
Yeah. I'm not going to explain everything I'm going through, but I'm going to adjust some of it.
Okay.
Because I kind of understand it. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh. So, Tom, you're my co-driver.
I wouldn't worry
I
about it.
just disabled it. Here we go. Oh, hi there. I centered? I feel centered. Here we go.
It's not raining now, at least. It does look
Yeah, I
like
can see
Wales,
better.
though. It's miserable.
Ready?
5, 4,
Oh, there you
Bring your
go.
voice.
2, 1, go. 60 over crest.
60 over
left
crest.
6 and right 6, 100.
So when he says 60s, he's talking about miles per hour?
And right
Yes.
5.
So you're going to go 100 miles per hour? Like,
No.
Well, he said that. He said 60 and 100. Now he's 80. I feel like that's an excessive speed to do.
I'm just going to try and stay on the track.
Yeah, just don't die.
That's a hell of a cliff next to me.
Yeah, this reminds me of home. It does look like Wales. I'm from England, by the way, not Wales, but I was 3 miles from the Welsh border growing up. Like, so much so that our road signs were in
Okay,
two languages.
so now that I'm not in the rain made a world of difference.
Really?
From both a visual and a control standpoint, because I'm so much better stuck.
Oh! Oh, nice comeback.
So much better stuck to the ground than I was before.
So it was hydroplaning a little bit.
There's a little bit of both, yeah.
Gotcha.
I feel like I'm doing a little bit
Are
better.
you
now.
proud
I
of
don't
me
know- I
for
don't know if
knowing what hydroplaning is, considering I don't drive?
Maybe.
Oh.
I was about to say I'm doing a little bit better, and then I ran into him.
Well, you know. Oh, you got it recovered, man.
Yeah.
You're backwards and all kinds of shit right now.
Problem is finding triangle is a thing on the steering wheel.
It is hard. The steering wheel is laid out not in the best way. It's not
And
hard.
there's no feel difference between any of the buttons. That's
Yeah.
I think that's the
You
thing.
just gotta remember location.
I do like that, like my window over here is cracked from where I crashed. I am a fan of that.
It's a reminder of
Yeah.
the pain that you once suffered from not listening to your co-driver.
It's also really hard to listen to co-driver when I'm talking and or talking to you.
You got a hairpin coming.
200 past junctions.
I heard that.
Whew, straight away.
Is it easier with the co-pilot?
Yeah, because I know it's coming up.
Okay,
Even
good.
even just the visual heads up there of like, okay, I'm turning left up here,
Right.
and there's a jump. Like, make sure I stay centered.
Left 660 line over crest.
Oh, buddy. I
little
just
bit of
completely came to
a
stop
dish
there.
Long.
What do we think about the graphical fidelity?
It's a right one long.
It's good. It's not as good as if you were to do it on a TV because you have the screen door effect, but it feels realistic. I mean, realistic to a certain extent. I
Right.
guess I should say. Oh goddamn! I really want to know if there's windshield wiper button or if they just do it automatically. I think it's automatic.
I remember being, like, not let down by the graphics, but they weren't quite what I was hoping for. I definitely didn't hate them, but I felt like they weren't particularly much better than Drive Club,
Yeah.
which a lot of people shit on Drive Club's graphics. I think it's just because we're spoiled from games like Resi and Farpoint.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Hold on! Hold on! Hold on!
I'm hoping GT
Oh,
VR
GT.
can
Gran Turismo
improve on
will.
that, yeah. I mean, they're renowned for their graphical
Oh,
capabilities.
fuck.
Oh, you're going down.
Oh
that hill,
fuck!
buddy.
Oh fuck! Got it!
Still alive.
I feel like your wheel's making a lot of noises.
It is. That's fine.
Crest right 6, half long.
The table mostly, actually, because it's a piece of shit.
150 over crest, bump.
There's a bump.
Left over crest. Left 660, right.
Ooh, this is a narrow road.
Right over
It's also quick.
Realistic.
It's also quick. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
This is what country roads look like in Wales. So
Oh
there's
shit!
more sheep usually. Oh, you just done died. You're like halfway there. Oh, your screen is fucked.
I'm on the road. Made
You're-
it back.
You're still alive.
gate, left 4, keep in.
Can Keegan make it to the end of the level without decapitating himself against a tree? Is what we're really
This is why I
trying
don't
to figure
race.
out.
I feel like a NASCAR game would be really fun for this because that's what I'm used to racing, not dirt rally.
Just doing circles.
Hairpin left,
Well,
100.
yes and no.
Doing
Even-
circles
even-
at speed.
Even IndyCar races would be fun.
Yeah. There's so much potential for this. I would like motorbikes and stuff like that. You know? I mean, it wouldn't really work with a wheel that great, but you could have like motorbike candles or something. There's a lot of people that play Eve with the what's the other one? It's not the Thrustmaster. It's the stick, like the flight stick or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know
But
what it's called.
Logitech makes.
Yeah, there's a pretty good flight stick you can use for games like Eve that's supposed to feel really, really great in VR. And I did debate one because, again, it was on sale the same time this was, but I figured I'd get more use out of the wheel than a flight stick.
Yeah.
Crest down.
Oh, I can't see.
Continues for 90.
Why not?
In through dip.
Like over the hill.
Oh, I see.
Like he's like, you're going this way. Oh God!
Oh!
Landed
Did
it.
you just fucking barrel roll?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Do a barrel.
6 over crest.
Oh, that one made me a little dizzy.
Left 6 over crest. 60.
There you go.
Look at all these people. Literally didn't know that their life is like hanging in the balance.
Some nice windmills there. Some wind
Here
power
we go.
going.
Here we go. Here we
We should try
go.
and go up those logs.
Into right 5 half long.
Oh, fuck! Save
you're
it!
losing
Save it!
You're
Save
losing
it!
You're
Save
losing
it!
it. Ah, dude, how the fuck did you survive that? Oh!
Oh Jesus!
100. Right
You did a wheelie.
long and caution right 2.
The problem I run into is getting back once you start like.
Losing it.
Oh, turn! That was a jump! That was a jump! That was a jump!
Oh, recover. Easier to recover. Alright.
No, recovery's for losers because you get a time penalty. I mean, you already get a time penalty. For
Yeah, I mean, it's no different from just staying in the ditch longer. Oh,
Oh!
Watch.
I turned the table.
watch the local police there.
I don't know if you saw that, Tom, but
I
your table started.
I told you it was a piece of
tipping.
shit. I warned you.
That was the first time because I tried to throw it into the hairpin.
Yeah.
Crest and
You gotta be a little cognizant.
crest post.
This table's gonna break one day.
3 long.
Right now, it's had more use than it has for the most of its life.
Right.
Oh.
Continues past jump.
Oh.
Caution 100.
See, I fuck up, but I somewhat get back on track. Which way
Cover's
am I
not
going?
bad.
Which way am I going? This way?
Right, yeah.
I guess it. Oh shit, car!
Oh, police! Is that police? No, it's,
No, it's
that's an event thing.
It's like a safety car. Oh,
Well, it's not safe anymore.
60. Care left 6.
You may as well crack out the windscreen at this point.
my car's handling way worse now. I can feel it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because of all the bangs and bumps?
I mean, do you blame it?
No, I guess not.
I kind of want to flip. There we go.
Oh,
Taking a knock.
oh, you still landed though.
Left 5 long 60.
You don't have much longer, man. You gotta come in for a good time here.
Jump.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Keep left over crest jump.
I mean, you're still in one
Here we go.
piece.
Here we go. Over the crest. Over the jump. Right 6.
And left 6. Keep left over
Is that like 6 degrees or?
Yeah.
pin crest. Into left.
Oh shit.
Oh man, that was some Mad Max level shit.
Am I facing the right way or am I going the wrong way?
The rear left.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Wrong way.
recover.
Yeah, I'm gonna be disqualified.
Oh,
otherwise.
you got gas? Not gas. Is that gas? White smoke. You got smoke.
Yeah, hood
Coming
of
out
my
of your
car is
A little fucked up there.
well, I can't wait to see this afterwards. Like the outside view. I keep forgetting to shift because I'm talking to you and I don't hear the engine sound. So like I look down, it's like, oh yeah, I got to shift now.
You were saying that you judge your shifting based on the sound the engine makes,
Yes.
which is, I guess, a technique. I've never heard of that before.
Well, you hear when it gets to the end of the or the top end of the RPM range.
How do you know that?
It gets high. It's a higher pitch.
Gotcha.
I feel like I'm getting worse here at the end.
Dude, you have to survive at least to the end of the race. You're so close. You're like half a mile from the end.
I'm gonna go to focus mode here.
Car's beat to shit.
Lost the front right and right 5 long. Right of crest, 60.
Oh my God!
Oh, down the hill and then some. Fuck yeah, no.
The temperature's
gonna-
well up.
The co-driver's just like, wait, you trying to kill me? Man? You trying to kill me?
Hey buddy, how you doing there? Oh, he looks at his paper.
Yeah.
Keep left over crest and right 6 continues for 100.
Doesn't have a tablet. He's too.
Head
He's
and right.
can't afford a tablet. He's gonna do pen and paper.
Well, he's like, he also doesn't want to get his shit broken.
That's true.
Turn!
Into
I'm scared to crank the wheel because I don't want to flip the table.
You can crank it. Just
turn
you
like
know,
that.
like
long.
chase it
Left 6.
with your hands.
Into left 6.
Don't just try and yank the whole thing
Left
over.
6 jump to finish.
Use 2 hands.
Finish!
Yay!
Finish line! Watch him hit it right at the end.
Hey.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
that's Dirt Rally. I want to see an outside shot of my car right
I
now.
don't know if they show you one at the end. They should. Guess not.
No.
Maybe if you did replay, you'd see it, but that's just gonna be like the whole race. So.
Left
Yeah.
6 and right 6 100.
Interesting. So
There you go.
that's Dirt Rally with the VR add-on. We should say that this is a game that you can buy both flat and play it normally, and then you can buy a VR upgrade for like $12 that makes the whole game accessible in VR. And
Oh God, this is throwing me for
That's
a
weird.
loop, but because I'm fast forwarding right now.
that's cool. Oh, shit.
That's kind of cool. It's really accurate. Oh Jesus!
It's neat. I like it. But you can also buy a complete edition as well, which is just the whole kit and caboodle, the whole package together. And would you recommend it after having experienced it with the wheel? Would you say the wheel's worth the additional thing if you're a big race fan?
Yes.
Yeah?
It makes it a lot better.
Cool. High praise.
I enjoyed it. It's really Dirt Rally though. If you're gonna buy it, just be warned that look at the front of my car there. Be forewarned that Dirt Rally is a very tough game in general.
Yes,
even if you
don't go
have the
into
wheel.
it expecting you to be like king of the road. Like, it does take some mastering, which is for a lot of people that enjoy this type of thing a good thing. But
was
it's
pretty good right
definitely not a super easy
No.
game to play. I was okay at it, and I'm awful at these types of games. But it depends entirely on the track you're racing and you know all the kind of elements. Apparently, the rain makes it way worse, and so some interesting things that we.
I do
picked
like
up
that you can go
knowledge-wise.
back and watch your whole thing and kind of see, okay, I could have fixed something there, which
That's neat. Yeah, I like that.
mainly run, and also the camera angles help because they're very cinematic.
Yeah.
Jump
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm real sweaty right now. It's a workout, surprisingly.
All right.
So
Well, thanks a lot for watching Level 2 VR this week. Remember, we are a podcast and a vidcast. We'll try and release this as a separate standalone VR episode for you if you have already listened to the audio podcast. And if you're on the video, then this should be tagged on the end of our vidcast. But yeah, we like to give you a little bit of gameplay at the end, just something to chew on, something to think about after the week's worth of news. We will be back same time next week for more VR, more updates, more news, more new games, and of course more gameplay. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and as always,
welcome to the second level.
bye!
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.